If you want to be a man of integrity, a man that's respected, a man that leads by example, then you must be a man that sticks by his word. Stay tuned as I'll dig into why you should be doing what you say. Hey everybody, Michael A. Benton here, and on this channel I focus on giving men the knowledge and the tools that they need to help control the lives that they desire. If you're a man looking to better himself, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every week. All right, so sticking to your word, like, do I even really have to go over this topic? I feel like it should just be like a norm, right, for men in general, but it's not. And so I think it was something that we need to touch on because, again, a lot of us out there aren't doing what we say we're going to do, right? We're breaking promises to folks that we love, to people that we interact with on a daily basis, and that's not okay, right? And for someone who, again, may be breaking their word, if that's you, you shouldn't be okay with it either, because the most important person that's being affected by you dropping the ball or you not doing what you're going to say you're going to do is you, right? Because it's going to have a long-term effect on the goals that you have for yourself and what you strive to do and become, and whether or not you're going to fall out if something goes awry, or if you're going to stick in there and be a man of your word. So there's really 4 different kind of areas that I want to touch on in regards to being a man of your word and sticking to what you're going to say. And so we'll just jump right into it. So the first one that I think is important to understand is this is a view on your character. Okay, so if you're someone that says you're going to do something, right, and whatever reasons may come up, again, this is life, right? So stuff is going to happen, right? Things are going to come up last minute. If you have an appointment with a friend or a colleague or a business partner or family member or whatever, things are going to happen. Stuff's going to come up. Obviously, in those cases, you're going to want to reschedule, right? But if you're someone that nothing comes up, but yet you're making an excuse because you really don't want to go to this function, or you really don't want to sit down and talk to this particular person, that's a view on your character. Okay, so we need to make sure that that's fully understood. If you tell someone you're going to do something, you need to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you told them, that you made an obligation to meet them or talk with them or whatever the case may be, and regardless of how you're feeling before you're supposed to meet up, you need to stick to your word. If you continue on the path that you are on of not sticking through to what you're saying, that's going to be a judgment on your character, right? And folks that are around you or in your circle, they're going to obviously take notice. And so when it's just like the story, the pig when they cry wolf, and it's like, you keep saying, hey, I'm going to show up, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. People are going to start to see your judgment as he's not going to do that. And then they're not going to be someone that, or you're not going to be someone that they're going to be able to rely on, right? When they do need your help, or they do need to meet with you, or whatever the case may be, people are kind of going to blow you off. And so that's going to affect you in all areas of your life. I mean, if you're someone that, again, doesn't stick to your word in a relationship, she ain't gonna be there too much longer. You know what I mean? Like, she's gonna figure it out. Like, this guy is, is all talk, and he doesn't do what he says, I'm out. Family members, right? If you have children and you tell your children, you're gonna do something, I'm gonna take you somewhere, or whatever the case may be, and you're always falling short for whatever reason, your kids are gonna look at you like, okay, like, yeah, dad said that, but that's not true. He's not going to do that. He's not going to do what he says he's going to do. Your wife's going to see the same thing. And so this could really have a huge impact on your character and how people view you. And I'm not saying that you should care what everyone thinks about you, but for those people that you do love and care for and respect, for me anyway, I do care about what their judgment is of me, because I value their opinion. I value their presence. And so I want to make sure that I'm, standing all 10 toes down, as they say, and standing on my word and being that man who's leading by example, who's being, who's showcasing integrity. And so, yes, it's very important, what my kids think of me, what my, future spouse may think of me, and family members and so on. So what you say has a huge impact on your character. And if you don't want your character to be looked at or judged in a negative way or a negative tone, then you gotta fix the the issue that you're having of not sticking to your word. So that's the first thing that I would tell you, okay, is just be careful. Watch out for your character, because it could become tampered with should you continue to not stick by your word in the long run. The second area that I want to focus on, I think is important, is stop thinking of yourself and start thinking of others. So I kind of alluded to this on the first point, but it isn't just about you, bro. It's not just about you. It's not about whatever came up for you before, you said you were going to do what you're going to do. It's not about whatever excuses you're going to use, if they're not valid, right? If it's not something that's an emergency or something actually did come up. But if you're just lying and you're making excuses because either you're lazy or you overcommitted to something that you really didn't have a drive to actually do, that's on you, bro. That's on you. And so it's important that you look outside of yourself, look outside of your scope. These people and these meetings that you're setting up and these promises that you're making to your children, to your family, colleagues, whoever, it's important to them. They're taking time out of their day. They could be using that time to do God knows whatever else, right? Maybe they set up a meeting with you and they could be hanging out with their kids, right? Or maybe they set aside a vacation because, they were going to meet with you or you guys were going to go somewhere. Whatever the case may be, the people that you're having effect on, they have lives too, and they have responsibilities as well too, right? And they have obligations of their own. And so if you're the type of person that just goes back on your word at the last minute or whatever consistently, the people that you're setting up meetings with or that you're making these promises to or these obligations to, they're not gonna F with you much longer, you know what I mean? Or for a lack of better words, they're not going to stick around and continue to be a good friend to you, right? Continue to care for you in such a way and really just stick their neck out for you, right? When you actually need their help, right? And so it's not just about you. In these moments when you feel like you are about to, whether you're going to cancel because you really don't feel like helping your friend move, right? You just said it because you were in the moment and it sounded like the right thing to do. Or, you're making promises to your children that you're probably not going to either keep, or, you, again, in the moment you were wanting for them to feel good, right? Like, hey, daddy's going to take you to Disneyland, right? And I'm going to plan the trip out and we're going to go in 2 months, and 2 months comes up and you haven't planned anything. In those moments, before you make a decision, really stop and think, okay? Next time, before you make an obligation to meet someone, when you make an obligation or whatever to help a friend or tell your kids or your spouse or whatever that you're going to do something, stop and think, okay, before I say this, can I realistically make this happen? Do I really want to make this happen? Do I really want to help this person move? Or do I really want to take the kids on this particular trip, right? Do I really want to schedule a meeting with this particular person? Okay. And then, continue to ask yourself before you make a decision or you make an obligation, what are the benefits of me saying yes to this and then me saying no at the last minute or telling them that I can't do it? Ask yourself these questions because, again, life happens, right? We're all impulsive and we all want people to, for the most part, feel good, right? And for them to be happy. And so we may do things, we may say things that, brings them that cheerful joy or happiness or whatever. And then when it comes time to actually, taking action on whatever it is we said we were going to do, we don't do it. And that's not okay. So just give yourself some time. Don't be impulsive. If someone asks you for help, hey man, can you help me move on Saturday? I would love to, bro. Let me check my schedule real quick and let me get back to you. Go check. And if you really do need to check your schedule, go check your schedule. And if not, that's going to give you time to say, okay, do I really want to help this dude? Is he really Is he really that good of a friend? Do I really know him? Do I have other obligations going on? And then you can get back with him and say, you know what? I'm sorry, bro, but I have other obligations. Now, totally different story, but whether that's true or not, that's totally on you. That goes back to being a person of integrity, right? If you're telling this person that you can't help them move because your grandma's in the hospital and she's not really in the hospital, she's on the beach. That's your moral compass, right? That's something that you're gonna have to work on yourself. But if it's a legit reason, or if it's a legit reason that you can't do something because you already have prior obligations, or you just don't want to do it, tell that person no. You know what I mean? Like that might be a tough conversation for you, but the point of it is to just be truthful and honest with people. And if you can't make a commitment because you literally can't or you don't want to, then say that. And that would save that person, a headache of rescheduling stuff that they may need to reschedule. That would save you the heartache of having to send out that lame text that you probably were going to send 3 minutes prior to you meeting with them or whatever the case may be. So just be truthful and honest with yourself, and more so be truthful and honest with the other people, and things will work out better. So that would be the second thing that I would tell you. The third thing that I would tell you, and probably the most important one out of the 4 that I'm going to talk to you about, is that if you don't keep your word, you're lowering your self-worth. Okay? Huge impact. The biggest impact that you have when you don't keep your word or you don't do what you're going to say isn't necessarily on the folks around you. It's a big deal, but it more so has a big impact on you, because this is going to be a continuance that you're going to see throughout your life, right? If you don't put a fix to it, if you don't stop doing what you're doing, right? If you go throughout your life and you become accustomed to overcommitting, right, to meetings or helping people or whatever the case is, overcommitting your time, and you've always been known to yourself that you're not going to commit to that. You're only saying that because you don't want to look like an asshole, right? Or you don't want to look like you're being mean, or that you're not willing to help. So you're going to say yes, you're going to overcommit yourself. You don't have a desire, you may not have a desire to commit to the schedule or to help anyone. But over time, you're going to get used to that. That's going to be your MO. That is going to be what you know that you are 100% most likely to do. So it's going to get easier for you as you move forward. So the more that you overcommit and say you're going to do something, but you don't stick to your word, it's going to be easier for you to send that text, to make that phone call, to decommit to whatever it is that you had going on, to tell your children that you're going to do something and you don't. It's going to get easier and easier because you're so accustomed to encountering those situations and having the same response, which is, yeah, I'll help. Yes, we can meet. Yeah, we can do that. I'll be there. And then you're not, okay? You're only hurting yourself. And so just think of the impact that has on your total life, right? The impact that it has in the areas of your life. When it comes to your responsibilities in other areas, whether it's relationships or career or finances or whatever, you're not going to be the type of person, you're not going to have the qualities that a man should have when it comes to doing what you say. You are going to, either lie your way out of it. You're not going to be able to commit to anything. And that's going to lead to you being able to commit to goals and to dreams and aspirations and things that you want to do and achieve. You're not going to be able to do it because you already have a routine within yourself, in your mindset, that I'm not gonna end up pursuing it anyway. I'm gonna throw it to a wayside. I have a goal to reach, 6 figures this year. But I'm not gonna do it because I'm not gonna commit. You know what I mean? So it has a bigger effect on you in the long term than anyone else, because again, you're gonna become accustomed to it. This is something that you're gonna just kind of do out of habit. And it's going to be very hard for you to break that type of cycle, that type of mindset, if you don't take control of it now. So again, if you're someone that is doing this now, where you're not committing to what it is that you say that you're going to do, this is the moment. This is your moment, bro, where you need to like reassess things, right? And like figure out why am I not willing to commit to whatever it is I'm saying? Is it the people that you're around? Is it the person that you're committing to? Do you not feel a certain type of way about them? Do you not care about them? If so, then you need to reassess, that relationship. Obviously, I'm assuming you care about your kids and your family, right? So if you're someone that's decommitting to things, from your children or your family, or say you're going to do something and you don't, what is it? What is it about them that you're not able to keep your word? What is it? So again, it all goes back to asking yourself questions and trying to figure out, starting from scratch, trying to figure out, okay, why don't I commit to things? It may have something to do with, how you were raised, or, how people committed their time to you when you set up meetings with them, or whatever, or when your parents told you that they were going to take you somewhere and they never did. That was their MO. They said you guys were going somewhere, or they're going to do something for you or whatever, and they never did it. And so now you've kind of entrusted that same mentality, and you're now doing the same thing. You're repeating the cycle to your family, your friends, your colleagues. So these are questions that you need to ask yourself and break down, so that way you can stop the cycle and be someone who is committed to their word and has integrity and leads by example. So ask yourself questions, most importantly. Hey, I'd love for you guys to comment below and tell me, is there someone in your life that you would not break your word for? All right, and then the final one that I want to talk to you about is, who will you not break your word for versus who you will break your word for? So let's break it down. So for me, people in my life that I will not break my word for are going to be my children, my family, my closest friends. Okay. So now again, I'm not perfect. So on a scale, let's say a percentage, I keep my word to those folks. I would just say, let's just say 95% of the time. Okay. 95% of the time, if I tell my son, hey, we're going out for ice cream. I tell my daughter, hey, we're going to a restaurant to eat or whatever. Hey, I'm going to take you guys to Disneyland. I haven't actually said that yet, but that's an example. But if I were to say that to them, you can guarantee you that I am going to do what it is I say that I'm going to do. And here's the reason why. I care so much about my kids. I care so much about my family. I care so much about my close friends that, again, it goes back to judgment. I don't want them looking at me as someone they cannot rely on. I do not want that for myself. I do not want to be the type of person that I can't rely on, even for me. So if I'm going to do something, if I'm going to say I'm going to do something, then goddamn it, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? Because again, that goes back to me knowing my value, knowing my worth. My word is bond, right? You know what I mean? And so if I'm going to say something, I'm going to stand on it. That's what it is. And so again, those people in my life that I will not go back on my word for, I care so much about them. I have so much respect for them. I respect their time. I respect everything about them. And so I don't want to lose that respect, and I don't want to lose the love that I have for them, and so I make sure that I go on my way that, hey, if I say I'm going to help you move, or, I'm going to, I told you I was going to give you, I don't know, $20 for gas or whatever it was, then I'm going to give you $20 for gas. I'm going to help you move. I will be there on Saturday and I want to help you move, or whatever the case may be. Or I'm going to plan this trip that I said we're going to take, and we're going to take it. You know what I mean? Because I care so much about them. Now, look at it on the flip side. Are there folks in your life that you are making commitments to, but you tend to break them more often? So an example would be, maybe you have some friends of a friend, right? You don't really have a good relationship with that person. You know them through your friend, right? But you've been over the house a couple times, whatever, but you guys really aren't like cool like that, and you don't really hang out like that, and you don't really talk like that. understand the relationship that you have. So if you're committing to meeting that person or whatever the case may be, and you know that I'm not really, I really don't have, just call it what it is. You don't really have much respect for that person, right? Enough respect for where you're going to take time out of your day to go help them. Then know that from the get-go, right? And that's going to help you alleviate this whole drama that you may run into. Tell them no, or don't volunteer to help or to meet them or whatever, or in the relationship. You know what I mean? If it's not that, if you're not going to be able to stand on your word and do what you're going to say to that person, then just end the relationship, because it's not that important to you to be in the first place, right? If something is important to you, regardless of what it is, you're going to find a way to get to it, right? If it's something that you don't care about, you're more than likely not going to move forward with it. That's with anything. If you're trying to eat healthy and you're just starting out and you've always been eating snacks or whatever, and you don't really care about, your weight or what you look like, but you say you want to eat healthy, you're not going to eat healthy. You're going to continue doing what you've always been doing, right? So unless it has a driving factor for you, unless it is super important to you, unless you care enough and it invokes feeling and emotion, you are not going to stick to what you say you're going to do. So if you have people in your life that you're committing stuff to, but they're far removed from any feelings within you or you care about them at all, don't volunteer your time. Don't commit to anything with them, or just cut the relationship off if it's not that close to you. But I'm trying to help you guys prevent, from, again, running into these dramatic situations where you're texting last minute, or you're having a call and now there's an argument because you said, that person said, hey, you said you were going to do this, and you were like, no, whatever. It's too much. So to alleviate all of that, the people that in your lives that you are going to commit to, those are going to be the most important ones. Those are the ones that you're not going to want to break that bond with. And just know the difference between the two. And it's going to help you create, or actually it's going to help you make better decisions. So those are the 4 things that I think is really important when we talk about sticking to your word and doing what you say. At the end of the day, man, regardless if you want to change in this area or not, that's going to be totally up to you. And, the relationships that you have is going to be affected by your actions or inactions. And again, that's back on you. So the only person that can make this change is you. And if you really want to be someone of integrity, as I mentioned before, someone that, is 10 toes down and stands on their word, then you need to fix it. Then you need to start with you and figure out, okay, if I am in this type of mindset and I'm not committing, what are the reasons? Why do I feel like I'm not committing? And then work on those. Figure out what it is that's stopping you from doing what you're saying you're going to do. And a little piece of advice, maybe you can start with small stuff. Don't start with the big stuff. So if you're having trouble committing to stuff, one thing that you can do to kind of help start building that confidence back in yourself, do small stuff. Hey, I'm gonna go for a 1-minute run. And then go for a 1-minute run right away, right? I'm gonna do 1 sit-up. Lay down and do 1 sit-up. And build on that. And that's gonna create more confidence within you, and then you can start incorporating things like self-talk and positive affirmations and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of things that you can be doing to help increase your integrity and being the man that you want to be by doing what you said you're gonna do. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please hit that like button, subscribe, share it with your friends, and as always, we'll see you on the next one. Hey, as a certified life coach, I help my clients in the same exact area where they're not able to figure out, why they're not being able to commit or, stand on their word as they said they would. And so if you're someone like that is struggling in that area, or there's other areas in your life that you feel are blocking you from becoming the man that you want to be, I invite you to, reach out to me and let's have a conversation in regards to coaching and seeing if that would be a good fit for either one of us. I'll put my information in the description below. That way you can contact me, reach out, and let's see if we can get you on the right path to becoming the man that you want to be.